You're listening to the Business and Life Podcast, where 7 days a week, proven entrepreneurs share their success stories, failures, and give you true value on how you can build a great business and an awesome life. With your host, Mike Olivas.
All right, Jennifer, welcome to the show.
Hi, Mike. Thanks so much for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you for taking the time. Tell our listeners something interesting about yourself and also where you're calling from.
So I'm in Los Angeles, born and raised. My husband also, we're both natives, and people seem to think that's very unique. I don't know. Everyone I know is from LA.
It's funny. Here. It's like people that live in LA generally aren't from LA. I guess I can see that a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. They always look at us like, wait, seriously? Like you're actually from here?
Yeah.
And something interesting about me, the office that I'm sitting in was designed by HGTV. My husband and I were on HGTV about 9 years ago.
What?
And we got a dream home makeover. The show was called HGTV'd, like HGTV apostrophe D.
Yeah.
And it was supposed to be like competing with Extreme Makeover Home Edition. But it was a dream makeover, no expenses spared for an HGTV super fan, which is me. Hi, guilty. And they completely renovated this huge bonus room in our house, and it serves as my home office and family room, and I have the fire going right now, so I still love being in this space to this day.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, good for you. I mean, if you're able to work in a really cool setup like that, that's great. So they redid your entire office.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, awesome. It's awesome.
So tell us a little bit about Generation PR. I love that the play on words with the JEN there, by the way, Business and Life listeners. But tell us a little bit about your company, what it does, the value it brings to the marketplace.
Oh, thanks so much.
Yeah.
So we're going to be celebrating our 15th year in business, 15. Wow.
Congratulations.
Crazy. Yeah. And Generation is a full service PR, public relations, social media marketing agency here in LA. And we specialize in promoting beauty and cosmetics, baby and kids brands, and health and wellness brands. And prior to setting up my agency, I was a civil litigation attorney. And I practiced law for 4 years and decided I wanted to do just a total career 180. And I mean, you can't get more kind of opposite
yeah, you're right.
than practicing corporate corporate civil litigation. But I love this model so much. This agency model has been really fantastic for me in terms of having the new term everyone says instead of work-life balance is now work-life integration. But that's how I feel is it's just been such a great model for now. I'm a mom and have two sons, and I'm able to be there for them and volunteer in their class. And Monday I went to my son's school and taught his whole 3rd grade class how to make lanyards. And that's the kind of stuff you get to do when you have your own business with a lot of built-in flexibility. And because I have felt so just grateful and lucky to have this business model and allow, from the contrast of being a billable hour litigator at a big firm, now have this other career, I just wanted to share what I know how to do. So I have an agency Accelerator program, and I teach others how to grow and scale their own profitable agencies.
Oh, that's awesome. Good for you. And so how did you niche out your breakdown in terms of serving like the beauty and the cosmetic health brands?
So my kind of areas of passion that I really love is beauty and cosmetics. And that was kind of what I went after when I first started. But it turned out that my very first paying client was a baby and kids brand. And they ended up becoming a very well-known brand, a celebrity favorite. We got them on the Ellen DeGeneres show a couple times and really got the brand a lot of visibility. I mean, obviously it helped. They had amazing products and people really loved the brand. And it was also the type of product line that could be seen out and about with, before it was influencers back in the day, it was celebrities with their children. And so we got a lot of visibility for that client. And I was very lucky that I got a great client as my very first paying client. And we supported that brand for 11 years. And I was able to really play on that, industry expertise and our contacts and our know-how, and really like a deep understanding of how the baby and kids industry works. And we ended up getting a lot of clients coming our way based on the work we did for that brand. So I just kind of happened into the niche for baby and kids. And then I, several years later had my own children. So it was very cool to, kind of come full circle with my professional
and personal life, right?
Yeah. And then, and now we have, $1 billion clients. Actually, in each of our niches, we have $1 billion clients, which is just crazy to wrap my head around.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Congratulations on breaking down first of all, on your successes. And then of course, understanding that, and I'd like to remind our business and life listeners about, being able to carve out the niche within the niche. Of course, you have an industry, but how do you carve out the niche within it? And also it sounds pretty awesome how you built it around things that you had passions for. Why not, right? Why would you not do that? And that sounds like an awesome win-win, because now you're not only staying on top of the game and part of those passions, but understanding the industry in terms of PR, being able to help your clients is exciting, because you're kind of talking about relevant topics while you're also getting paid to do it, right?
Yeah. And like the good thing is, like I said, I'm 15 years into this. I still love my business because I chose niches that I'm personally interested in. So when I kind of give people the framework for how they can build their own agency, I try to get them to laser in on certain niches and areas of focus that do overlap with their personal interests, because I want you to build a business that you're going to love in 5-10 years. And so that's how I've been fortunate enough to do it, is really focusing on things that interest me personally.
And how much more fun is it than civil litigation? Oh man. Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah.
My past, at least Californian civil litigators there in Los Angeles. I'm going up to his cabin here soon to do some snowboarding over around February-ish. But it's kind of funny because I really feel, and I tell them this, like maybe the attorney angle could have been something I did in the past or in another life, but your knowledge of business litigation is probably so much, it helps you so much from a business perspective, right?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, the biggest positive is that we get paid. I mean, we have a very, very high, collection rate on our billings.
Yeah.
And any time that we've had a situation where a client hasn't paid our invoices, we stop that right away, or, we know how to collect.
Right,
I mean,
right.
Sounds like pretty, strong of us to know that we know how to kind of chase down clients for money. But I have a strategy around it. And I know that if you have to go and get a little bit forceful, it's kind of the end of the relationship.
Sure.
But sometimes it comes to that. And, I think it does help a lot with credibility and
absolutely
positioning. As a litigator, you get the same set of facts for both sides. You have the same documents, the same everything. You have to just make your case for how you want those facts to be interpreted. And with PR, pitching is kind of the same thing. It's how do you take maybe a product or something that's, similar to the competition, or, maybe has a little bit of nuances to what makes their product good, but how do you position that to the media and, show them and tell them a story that gets them to want to share with their audience?
Right. So you've been in business for several years. Give me a time where you kind of felt like you've gotten close or hit a rock bottom here, Jennifer, and been able to overcome that, disaster.
Oh God. Well, in my PR business, we're really fortunate. We've had a lot, like year over year growth. And even when the economy kind of tanked in 2007, 2008, we were really able to kind of survive that time. I think convincing clients that in order for them to stay ahead of the competition during that challenging time, they probably should keep their brand relevant, top of mind with their consumers. So PR probably wasn't the thing they'd want us to skimp on. So the agency side's been great. I've had challenges with team members,
Sure.
Not too often, but one that most recently I kind of was informed that she was acting in a way that really surprised me. And it was kind of almost like she was claiming that all of our clients were her clients, and then exaggerating the work that she did on behalf of the clients, to the point where if the client saw that, we would have been in a significant amount of trouble. So when I confronted that person, I gave them an opportunity to explain, and I just wanted to really understand what her position was. And the reaction wasn't great. It wasn't taking responsibility. It wasn't having an open dialogue. It was defensive and almost turning it around as if I was mistaken. And it was a significant role in my company. That's been a challenge to fill, but I had to take decisive action and realize that our core value, one of my personal and my business core value, is integrity. And this person absolutely acted out of integrity. And there was no question that they couldn't remain in the company, because that would have been completely not aligned with our overall core value of integrity to keep somebody in that behaves in that way. So we had to kind of get them out, which was really challenging. And but I take full ownership and told all the clients very candidly that we were bringing somebody new in and to kind of bear with us while we had a little bit of choppy waters trying to fill the role. And everybody was very understanding, but it's challenging. I mean, we're really focused on building an incredible team. Everyone else here is an A player and is totally in integrity all the time. And that was hard.
I think the people challenge is something that is very relevant to our listeners that have the entrepreneur listeners and business owners, of course, aspiring entrepreneurs, to learn that you're going to have the people challenges. Unfortunately, it's just the way it works. And doing the right thing is sometimes not the popular thing, or possibly the best for the business's bottom line. And that's okay. If they're not in line with the actual, let's say, the morals, the standards that you set, or the vision that you set, and see the high level of, let's say, interaction from the company owner, I think it's very important to understand that there's nobody not replaceable in a business outside of the business owner. And I think there's ways of doing that, as long as you're putting the systems in place for someone to come in and be successful, which I'm sure you have, but understanding that, oh my God, this person has all the relationships, and they have all the sales. It's a scary moment. I've been there too, to get rid of the top salesperson in a company. And you start thinking, well, how do I reinvent that? Well, you're better off moving forward than always having that in the back of your mind that something might be wrong, because even though it's scary, it's still a big weight off your shoulders if you're holding off on making that kind of big decision.
Yeah, and it really helped us to have those core values in place and to really understand what we stand for, and like you said, what our vision is, who we serve, and how we serve them. For both sides of my business, both the agency side with our retainer clients and my digital business with the different programs that I offer for coaching. We know what we stand for. And so if somebody acts in a way or conducts their role in a way that doesn't align with the vision and values that we have, it's kind of an easy decision.
Yeah, I appreciate you sharing that, Jennifer, because we really want to, I ask those questions, and sometimes they're tough questions to kind of think about what has been a challenge, but the goal is to make sure that our listeners see the value of understanding that there are trials and tribulations. It's not all rainbows and sunshine days, right? Like we all wish it was. Like on the outside looking in, you better look great, because that's what PR is about. That's what advertising is about. But on the inside looking out, there's a lot of hurdles, right? There's a lot of speed bumps, and that's okay, and that's normal, but that's the world of entrepreneurship. Give me a little bit about why you feel, or your advice and thoughts, or at least why you feel other entrepreneurs out there in the world decide to just give up. Why do you think that is?
Well, I think that they give up because they don't realize that there's something on the other side of challenge, that, it's not so easy. I mean, a lot of what we're seeing, like you said, other entrepreneurs share, especially with social media, is all of the successes, and people seem to be kind of overnight sensations, and they don't see the hard work and the long periods of struggle and all of the kind of failures that that person has gone through in order to kind of achieve whatever success you're seeing now. And if you look at failures, I mean, we hear it, it's not just an Instagram meme or quote. You look at failures like, what is the lesson in that? You know, what is the lesson that you can learn in that failed launch or that thing that didn't go the way that you were expecting? And there is, you know, success is not a great teacher. There's nothing to learn when something just goes so well and so perfectly, right? And so I think a lot of people give up. It's scary. I mean, it's definitely scary, you know, taking a leap. I mean, I leapt from a career that I, you know, worked really hard and invested a lot of time, money, and effort to get to that place. And I jumped into a business where I had zero contacts, zero training. I had nothing. And I just said to myself, I am going to make this happen. I need, you know, give me 6 months. We'll see what happens. And I didn't allow any things in terms of like my timeline of how long it would take. Even though I said 6 months, I really was like, whatever it takes, I'm going to make this work. And I just think a lot of people get a little panicked, or, you know, the fear of the unknown. And they also feel like they have to have every single thing figured out perfectly in place. And I think that is like a recipe for inaction. I think you'll get stuck in perfection paralysis. And I think that you get a lot of clarity when you just take action and then iterate as you go along.
Absolutely. It's okay to start and it's okay to suck. Life Nation, we're all striving towards different goals. Maybe your goal is to finally quit the 8 to 5 grind, quit your job, or take the next step with your existing business. Whatever the goal may be, regardless of your reasons, if you are serious about taking the next step and finally trying to build the life that you deserve, the life that you want to live, take the leap of faith. Go to michaelolivas.com and let's discuss your goals and life. It's 100% free. There's no obligation. It's michaelolivas.com. Schedule a quick call. I'd love to help. You're going to suck at first. I sucked at podcasts at first, and I'm still getting better. I'm still learning what to do, right? It's just
great.
It's a normal process. Thank you. But it's a process in terms of trying to listen, trying to engage when you're not used to it. Now I got to be on camera. Why? Because it's just it's a smart media outlet. If I'm not, I might as well do that if I can. And if they Zoom, amazing types of technology out there allow me to do it, why not, right? But there's so many different things that people are afraid of, but I think you mentioned something that's really kind of beneficial to those that are aspiring entrepreneurs, and just take action, take the first step, even if it's a baby step. Start. Is it buying the URL? Maybe that's what it is, right? Maybe it's something along those lines that gets you a little bit vested into learning and understanding that now it's starting the journey there, and realizing, of course, you mentioned too, that you're seeing all of these different Instagram people that are maybe very, very experienced. They're on the beach. I always post up on the beach because I live on it and I love it. And I'm always pushing to live the life that you want to live and build the life you want to live, because I feel like I have. However, at the same time, all the success comes from behind closed doors, and everyone's success is behind closed doors. It's not that just didn't come out of nowhere, right? And most people, we always have the saying now. A lot of people have heard it. You probably have too. It takes 10 years to become an overnight success.
Right.
That's the total truth. Like the Bezos of the world, the Walmarts and Targets of the world, 10, 20, some of them 30 years to get to where now they're a huge public type of company and or big. It all came from one person's idea and dream. And I think that's something to realize, that there's baby steps, and you start the process. It's the first step. What are you kind of excited about within your specific business and industry right now, Jennifer?
Oh God, I'm so excited for 2020. I mean, we planned out the entire year for my business and looked at all of the promotions and launches that we're going to do and what our revenue goal was. And I had to change the way I looked at my goal in terms of the impact that I get to make. So rather than looking at, what each product, each promotion was going to bring in revenue wise, I needed to set a target for how many people I get to serve. And I'm going to be launching a new membership next year that is going to be aimed at PR professionals, so that they know exactly what to be doing every month for pitching, how to stay on top of the evolving media landscape so that they can get their clients earned media opportunities and kind of stay ahead of the curve. And I'm so excited. I've been wanting to launch this for a really long time. And then layering it in with my agency Accelerator, where I have a really intimate coaching program where I teach agency owners how to launch, grow, and scale their own profitable agencies. So I see a complete journey from start to finish, where I'm working with PR professionals on fine tuning and mastering their skills, like the tricks of the trade, and then giving them a full framework for how they can run a profitable agency that they will love in 5, 10, 15 years, serving brands, clients they believe in, and make great money and have, this work-life integration that they're seeking. So I see that. I actually have my full quarterly, wall calendar, everything set up, and I just see how it all ties together. And I just feel really excited about how I can serve and how many people I get to impact next year.
I love that. And I love that you mentioned your goals, and you mentioned revenue goals, but you also you talked about how you're going to measure impact. And I think that's something that's very important that a lot of entrepreneurs forget and don't do. What is my customer impact? What is my client impact? And a lot of times they don't know how to measure that. Here's an idea. Ask them. Right? Ask them how you're doing. What do you think? And then measure some of those things on. And if you have employees, and I have a national group travel company, and a lot of times it's experience based. We always talk about the experience for the customer. We try to create bonus structures around what the customer's experiences is. So we simply ask the client, what was your experience? And that allows for the entire company to understand what's important. If you're putting money behind something, that it's likely going to be important. If you're going to pay someone based off of your service and their experience, that's definitely important. So it's awesome that you're measuring those kind of things and making sure, more importantly, that you're impact focused and experience focused on clients and what they're doing. And I love the idea of the agency. When did you start the agency program where you started helping others create the agency, by the way?
So my agency Accelerator started about 1.5 years ago. And it started just as a total idea, just like a beta launch. And I put it up on Instagram, and before I completely built out a program like I had done in the past, I wanted to see first if people were interested. Yep. And I had 6 women sign up. It's a pretty significant investment. And so we co-created it and built it together. And the best work that I have done is in response to what they're looking for and where their struggles and challenges were and how I could help them solve it. And then as the program got built out, we started to see this framework that becomes a system that you can repeat over time. It's how I was able to build my agency to be supporting $1 billion clients and 5-figure monthly retainers, multiple 5-figure monthly retainers. It's taking the work that we did, scaling the business and then leveraging those results to attract bigger clients, more targeted clients, niching down to grow bigger. And so I saw this framework emerge. I call it this path to profitability, but it's 4 pillars. It's strategy, sales, service, and scale. And it's great because no matter where you are in the agency journey, if you're looking to bring in, your first $2,500 a month retainer client, or you're looking to scale to 7 figures a year, the framework works. And I have a lot of women that go through it and then go back and revisit depending on where they are in their client journey or the onboarding process. And it just becomes a resource with systems and frameworks. And basically it's what I wish I had when I started my business. Yes. Nothing like this existed. People in our industry are so close to the vest with what their secret sauce is. And I just feel like there's so much opportunity to go around. And I just wanted to share what's working for me so that others can shortcut the process and plug it into their business.
I want to mention something. The reason I asked that question about your other company within the company is because a lot of entrepreneurs out there that might be either solopreneurs and have a business similar to yours, whether it's larger, smaller, same size, mid-size, is that you can start building an ecosystem around your business like Jennifer has. And that's exactly what this is. It feeds and or allows to support other pieces of the business. And that's what a lot of other coaches and or advisors and or consultants and just overall just agencies, if you will, or whether it's a marketing agency, whether it's someone creating a mastermind, all these things kind of will pivot into different pieces of the business. So if you're able to see, or you kind of feel stagnant a little bit about it, being an owner right now of your business, maybe there is an angle. Maybe there's something like Jennifer did, which is like, I wish I had this, then create what this is, and then promote it, which I thought was a great idea, by the way. Go see if they like it first before you build it out, which is awesome, because some people should do that. I think Richard Branson said it best. He said, just sell it, then figure it out, which I mean, I'm no stranger to that. I figured that out. But it's better to see if there's an actual market need for it first, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And it has been challenging to find my audience because it's so niche in terms of serving agency owners, but we're creating content around introducing the agency model and why, you know, versus a digital product. It's like, you don't have to have a huge audience to grow an agency. You really need 2 clients and you can become very profitable.
Yep.
And kind of showing the differences there and giving a little education on what this looks like, or helping freelancers see that there's more opportunity if they put structure behind what they're doing instead of calling themselves a freelancer or a virtual assistant. You know, so it's really figuring out all of the people out there that we can serve with, you know, in various ways, and realizing that it's not all about Facebook ads. We're exploring opportunities on LinkedIn, and realizing we can connect in a little bit more of a targeted way with our audience over on LinkedIn. And I just want to get into like this simple flow state with our content and sharing the same content in various forms and repurposing, and just keep it really simple. And I've realized that we have a consistent approach, and I'm starting to see this kind of snowball effect of people coming into our world, connecting, making really, you know, significant connections, joining our groups, and, you know, getting them to see the possibility of what their business could be. And it's really just me deciding that I'm here to serve. And if I show up every single week, somewhere, somehow, I'm going to connect with the people that need to hear that message. So I just keep showing up every week for that reason.
Well, thank you for showing up. I'm sure they're thanking you for showing up every week to help them out in terms of their agency and their build out. That's exciting. And I'm sure you feel like you start having ownership of these guys, in terms, not ownership of them, but ownership of, like, you feel like you're a part of it. You're helping them grow. They're part of their business. That's exciting for me. I know I see that sometimes as a coach, and I see their wins and I celebrate with them. And sometimes, of course, there's going to be those challenges that we have to just totally scratch the game plan for a little while and figure out. It could be an employee issue, for example, but you've had a lot of success, right, Jennifer? So I'd like to always ask, how have you built the life that you want to live with business and life? And you mentioned earlier it was business and life integration, which I like, by the way. I'm not a big fan of balance either. So I say, if you're balanced, you're standing still. So how have you been able to do that in all these different facets, in the agency building and also your PR company, of course? How has that really helped you build a life that you want to live?
Well, I was very intentional about it because I had a very different situation when I was an attorney, and I looked at my future. I just sort of like, it was almost like looking at the partners at my law firm was like looking into a crystal ball where I could see my future, and I didn't like what I saw. And I'm not afraid of hard work, and I had worked really hard to get there, but I saw myself on like a collision course with this destiny that didn't look like any sort of semblance of a life that I wanted. And so I got intentional about the kind of life that I wanted to build. And, you know, at the time I was dating my husband, and we're now married almost 13 years. And we knew we wanted to have children. And I realized that the women that I could look to as mentors in my agency or my law firm were not really present for their children. They were working crazy hours. They didn't seem like they were able to kind of escape in the middle of the day to go to their school performances or make their, you know, soccer games or whatever. And that was important to me. So knowing what I wanted my life to look like, I had a strong feeling that I probably needed to run my own business. And I have always approached my business with the idea of, you know, what's the worst thing that can happen? The worst thing they can say is no. You know, it's how I built my whole media contact list. It's how I've secured all of the placements that I've gotten over the years. And, you know, getting on sales calls with clients, I approach it as if, I'm visualizing that I'm already serving them. And even on the calls, I'm already serving them so that I can be seen in their eyes as an expert and somebody that's not just telling them what they want to hear, but giving them what the realistic expectation is going to be. And, like it or not, that's what somebody who serves does, is they help in any way that they can. So I just kind of approach my whole business like, you got to just take action and then figure it out as you go. I have definitely been stuck in perfection paralysis, and I don't like how it feels. And I realize it's just because I'm trying to protect myself and not put my business or myself out there for judgment. Right. And I realize if I do that and I'm stuck in perfection paralysis, then I'm not serving. And I just take action. And it's literally like thinking about the one person that I can impact, and they're out there, and it's my job to find them and to serve them.
Yes. Make fast decisions and stick with it, move forward and pivot when you need to. I think that's totally a lot of perfectionists like maybe entrepreneurs and type A's, because that's a lot of who they are, right? It's hard not to take that next step, or first step, at least, if you feel like everything is not set. But you mentioned something that I really want to make sure that I just kind of definitely give you some props on, is that knowing that life one before the business was even started was important here, guys. That I talk a lot about, in the world of business and life always wins. And, Jennifer created the life she wanted to live by knowing before she even had the kids that she wanted to be there for them, right? What was the engine that was going to allow that to happen? That's called a business. Being able to understand what that engine of your life is, and that you have to feed every day, right? It's a living thing. We got to feed it. We got to work it. And you're going to have a lot of fun and a lot of heartaches and stress sometimes going through it. But that's a process, and it's something that you should sacrifice when when the end game is life, and being able to be present with those that you love and care about. And I think that's very awesome, and I commend you for that.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's been
so
great.
Let's talk a little bit about the one last piece of advice before we part here that you would give to, out of all your successes, like maybe a piece of advice, a parting advice that you'd give to the aspiring and current entrepreneurs out there.
Oh gosh, one piece of advice. I think a real game changer for me has been having mentors in my business. And there's so many more coaches and mentors, whether they are known to you as, whether they know that they are your mentor. Like a Tony Robbins doesn't know that he's mentoring you specifically, right, but that person can still serve as somebody that you look up to. Or if you connect with a coach or somebody through their programs, and basically you look at what they've done in their life and in their business, some result they've had, and that you see that the way they live their life, the way they run their business, their values line up with yours, then, and you connect, you feel a connection, that person can serve as your mentor through coaching, their paid programs, or even just following along with what they're putting out into the world through their podcasts and other content. And realizing now that so many people are taking all of their knowledge and what they know how to do and cutting off years of trial and error that you're going to have to suffer through by just following the processes that they're sharing with you, and you can have amazing results much faster. And for you to think that maybe you don't need a coach, like you're going to figure it all out on your own, you're just costing yourself time and money. And to me, time is the number one most precious resource. Yes, and yes, if I can figure out how to do something in less time and get better results, that is worth the investment. I literally just not wrote a check, but I just paid on my credit card to my mastermind, my mentor, $25,000 for next year. And it was the single biggest no-brainer investment I just made. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Like the value that I get out of that community and that coaching and all of the processes that are shared with me is worth, I will make that back in my business, tenfold in the first quarter, hopefully. But yeah, it's worth it. Just know that there are mentors out there, and that is one of the single greatest investments that you can make in yourself and your business.
I think you're absolutely right. There's a lot of people that people can't, there's success leaves clues, right? Whether you're following someone like Jennifer, someone like myself, that I do coaching, but I can't take on a lot of clients. I can't because I have other companies that I'm running, right? But in reality, I can be choosy on what I do, but also there's other coaches out there that you might resonate with. And whether it's me, you're following someone like Jennifer, you're following someone like Tony Robbins, who has hundreds of different coaches out there. Bottom line is get someone to help you. And if it doesn't work out, get someone else. Like I can't tell you the amount of different coaches and advisors that I've had over the course of just 12 years of doing this, but of just being an entrepreneur. But at the end of the day, without a doubt, if I didn't do that, I would not be nearly in terms of just the progress that I've been able to make in life and of course in business. So Jennifer, thank you so much for dropping all that information. Let us know where we can find you.
I'm all over social media at Generation PR with a J, like you mentioned. And I would love to talk with your audience on Instagram. If you heard me here, send me a DM and let's connect and let me know how I can help you.
Awesome. And if you're watching this, you got to check it out because she has a really cool background in her awesome office that was created for her. So thank you so much for your time. I wish you the best of luck in the future.
Thanks so much, Mike. I really enjoyed chatting with you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Life Nation, you got to remember that in order for things to change, you must change. And in order for things to get better, you must get better. You just got better by hanging out with me, Michael Libas, and the Business and Life Nation. So come back tomorrow because I'm here dropping sound bombs 7 days a week, baby. If you'd like to subscribe, please do so you can take action and execute. See you tomorrow.